Hello and welcome to this quick podcast. I'm going to go kind of fast on this one, so let's start with just the basics of operant conditioning. I'm going to leave the screen on for you to briefly read. You can pause me because I'm going to move on. Okay, let's start with the basics. One thing that can often confuse AP students is the difference between reinforcement and punishment. One of the easiest and most simplest ways to think about this is that reinforcement always increases a behavior, and that's the goal. It tries to make behavior, so again, this is my horrible handwriting. Behavior is always, the goal is always to increase behavior. The likelihood that behavior will continue, we use reinforcement. When we want to reduce a behavior or make it less likely for a behavior to occur in the future, we use punishment. Okay, so again, reinforcement increases the likelihood of behavior, punishment reduces the likelihood of a behavior, or at least that is the goal. Now we get into, let's scaffold this. We have the basics of reinforcement and punishment. Now, to add another layer of complexity, reinforcement can be broken up into positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement. Punishment on the right side of the screen can be broken up also into positive and negative. Now, before you think about all the things you've learned, I want you to actually just embrace this at the most basic level. When you see the words positive and negative, I want you to think of mathematics as opposed to your English class. Subtracting is not a bad thing. Now, when we use the word negative in English class, we're usually denoting something unpleasurable, undesirable. So don't think about that right now. Think about math. So when you see the word positive reinforcement, it means that we are adding something. We are adding a reinforcer. Okay? When you see the word negative, it means that we're removing something from the equation. Okay? Same thing in punishment. When you see the word positive, we are adding something. When you see the word negative, we are subtracting something. Okay? So the next step is, well, if I want an organism to increase a behavior by using positive reinforcement, what would I add? Would I spank my dog when it actually followed my command and sat or gave me its paw? No, because that would decrease the likelihood that my dog would sit in the future, because she would associate sitting with getting a spank. Maybe I will give her a treat. So we're adding something desirable, something pleasurable to the equation when we are using positive reinforcement. So again, we are adding something pleasant. Negative reinforcement gets a little bit confusing, but we are basically subtracting. We are removing something unpleasant. In positive punishment, so we're going to move over to the punishment side. Again, if my dog was breaking into the garbage can and basically spilling over the garbage, and I wanted that behavior to stop because I didn't want to come home to a kitchen full of garbage, right? And I didn't want my dog to get sick by eating some of the garbage, right? I wouldn't give my dog a treat as it was doing that, right? So to punish them and to use positive punishment, I'm going to add something aversive. Just think about it as the opposite of what we did here, right? These two are the opposites. In positive reinforcement, I add something pleasant. Here I'm going to add something unpleasant to try to reduce the likelihood of the behavior. Okay? Now, in negative punishment, right? So negative punishment, we are going to remove something, because remember, we're thinking math. Subtracting is removing something. I'm going to remove something pleasant. So here, in negative reinforcement, we remove something pleasant. In negative punishment, I'm going to remove something pleasant. So again, we remove something unpleasant here and something pleasant here. Those are your basics.